And next up at UFC 328, we've got Pat Sabatini taking on William Gomis. And let's talk a little bit about this matchup here. Striker versus grappler. Sabatini knows exactly what he wants to come into fights and do. He wants to be able to get you to the ground. He wants to implement his Brazilian jiu-jitsu and his high-level grappling. And I would argue he's one of the better grapplers inside of the UFC. When it comes to his striking, obviously he can be a little bit chinny at times. He has been caught in the past by Diego Lopez and Jackson. But I do worry in this particular fight here that if he can't get the fight to the ground, Gomis is going to be the much cleaner, much better striker. And it's tough at times to be able to get these taller guys for the division, especially at 6 foot here for William Gomis taking on 5'8" of Pat Sabatini. It could be a little bit difficult for him to get this fight to the ground. The one kind of factor in terms of the tape study here is that when you go back and look at William Gomis' last fight against Robert Rucella, not necessarily known for being this high-level wrestler, was able to go 2 for 2 on takedowns against Gomis, ducking underneath the shot, getting into the body lock trip takedowns, and ultimately dragging Gomis over that back leg, and ultimately getting the fight to the ground. And Pat Sabatini, once he gets you to the ground, he is like glue. He will control you. He will transition from, kind of side control into mount, beat you up, and ultimately find the submission and at least be able to win rounds with his high-level control on the ground. So this fight's really just going to come down to, can Pat Sabatini get the takedowns here? Very opportunistic takedowns. He's going to need them. Gomis is a guy that stands very, very square, and that's why I'm going to pick Pat Sabatini here. In the striking, Gomis is no secret. He's going to be the better striker, but at times he can stand very square to his opponent, looking to land that front kick up the middle. He will throw a lot of kicks as well, sometimes blind kicks. That's going to give Sabatini the opportunity to catch them in order to go for takedowns. And I think in terms of the power in the hands, Gomis is not necessarily known for being able to put people's lights out with the power, with the striking. He's more of a decision merchant. Not to say that he couldn't catch, Sabatini on the feet. I just think that, Sabatini's fought guys who have got a lot of pop in their hands. Diego Lopez, Damian Jackson, guys that do carry a little bit more sting. And I think Gomis is a guy that just kind of flicks shots out there. He just looks to touch, just looks to score points, looks to get volume out there. I do think he has good takedown defense, but an opportunistic takedown from Pat Sabatini is definitely very different to a guy like Robert Rucella. Rucella doesn't have the wrestling. He's good on the ground, good with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but we saw Gomis was able to get up after a minute or so. Pat Sabatini is going to glue you to the ground and ultimately find the submission. So give me Pat Sabatini here. Opportunistic takedowns. I think he does a better job of tucking his chin here than he's done in the past. I think that's the secret to this 3-fight win streak. He's staying a little bit more defensively sound in the striking, kind of using the opportunities he presents in the fight to go for the takedowns. He's not necessarily just spamming takedowns in a panic. And I think Gomis doesn't necessarily have the pop in his hands to be able to keep Pat Sabatini off of him. Gomis is a guy that if he's kind of backed up, we saw it in the Haider Emil fight. If he's backed up, he will, kind of dart around on the outside up against the fence, which I think is going to open more opportunities for Pat Sabatini's takedowns. I think he needs to be the one pushing forward. And I actually think here that Pat Sabatini is going to throw some sort of overhand or some sort of shot down the middle to get Gomis kind of thinking about the striking for him to level change and ultimately get the takedown here. So give me Pat Sabatini in a slight lean, not super confident. Let's see who Carlos has got in this matchup.
Okay, in this one, I'm going to take Pat Sabatini to get this one done. I think Gomis is going to have to land some type of a bomb to get Sabatini out of there early or whenever in the fight. And Sabatini, he's not extremely durable. So it doesn't have to be a big shot. It just has to be clean. It's got to be on the right spot. And Gomis is a pretty good striker, and he's able to do that. And, does he have, great pinpoint accuracy? No, but his strikes are accurate enough where he can time something. He can land something if he can, get the right timing on Sabatini. I could see Gomis landing something and getting the finish, but I do see Gomis having to, once he's hurt, just go after him and get the finish. I don't see him landing one shot, one and done, but I do see the fact that if he doesn't do that, Sabatini is going to be able to, I can see him throwing a couple jabs just to close the distance, coming in behind it, stepping in, and forcing Gomis to have to either be offensive, throw a 1-2, throw a jab, or throw a kick, or a knee, something to back off Sabatini. And then he's going to grab that leg, and he's going to take you down, or he's going to slip underneath that jab or that 1-2, and then he's going to get into the body and get that takedown anyway, because once he gets his hands claps around the body, it's over, or even around the waist, around the leg, because he's just going to take that single leg and get you to the ground. he's got that ability to do so. And once you're down there, he's got great top pressure. He's got very slick movement. He stays on you. He's like human crazy glue. He's going to be very difficult to get any bit of space on you. And for the most part, I just feel that Gomis is going to have to be a sniper. And in those small situations where he can at least extend his arm, like by framing off somebody like Sabatini, he's going to have to be very good at throwing some elbows on the inside and some knees and landing to the body, landing to the head, trying to land something to get Sabatini to back off, because the moment he backs off, that's when you know he hurt. So I'm going to go with Sabatini. I just think he's going to keep this fight so close in such tight quarters that Gomis isn't going to have a chance to get off. And if that happens, I think Sabatini can do that in every round and get this one done.